Test. Test. Dan gaan we het vertellen hoe het, wat de pairings zijn. Ja. Oh ja, hij is live.
De nieuwe link?
Ja, ik zie hem.
Nou, waarschijnlijk zijn mensen nou wel gewoon op mijn kanaal beland.
Ja, maar er zijn al 2 mensen die erin zitten. Zet maar weer aan dan. Nu doet het geluid het wel, denk ik.
Als het goed is, werkt het nou.
Test.
Ja?
Ja?
Zijn we er weer? Kunnen mensen het zien?
Er zijn 2 mensen. Beeld is goed. Mensen. So we're waiting for some people to come to join us again if people are not fed up with this yet. We're really sorry that this happens, but well.
What are you going to do with a bunch of amateurs, huh?
We're just amateurs. The guy who normally helps us with this rule, he wasn't available tonight, unfortunately, and we thought we could do it without him, but obviously we can't. So did you all finish your first beer and first cheese?
I saw somebody already commenting, what's the next beer?
The next beer is something that Casper is going to tell you soon. And the next cheese I'm going to get. The next cheese actually is the thing in the little bag, so the mozzarella. So you can get the mozzarella out. And I'm going to do that. This one.
Heb jij het biertje?
Nee, heb jij het ook? Open?
Ja. Hopsakee. Nou, ook van mij sorry voor de vertraging. Maar we zijn er weer.
But there's a delay.
There is a delay.
Quite a delay.
Ja, maar dat zien ze niet, hè? Dat weten zij niet.
So, the mozzarella in the little bag. You can open it. You see it looks a bit dirty, but that's how it's supposed to look. It's a smoked mozzarella. Oh, I think we're almost live.
Nee, maar dit is niet YouTube, hè?
Jawel.
Oh.
Oh nee.
Nou, dames en heren, laten we hopen dat vanaf hier goed blijft gaan. Een stuk mindere beeldkwaliteit, maar in ieder geval werkt het gewoon. Dus dat is fijn. Maar goed, genoeg daarover. Ik heb nog niet eens tijd gehad om om het kellerbiertje op te drinken. Dus hebben we reacties over hoe mensen de pairing vonden?
Yeah, we had some responses that people liked the pairing of the two. Is there anyone else would like to add to this? We thought it was a good one because they're both they have the same taste intensity level. They go well together. It's not like the biggest magic ever, but with a light beer and a light cheese like this, you won't get firework. But we'll get that later on, I think.
So the beers that I chose today are beers that I pretty much want to drink all summer. So this is not a pairing or not a tasting we would do in November or December. We would go way bigger, heavier, more intense. But you know, today we had an amazing sunny day, and I'm enthusiastic about this spring finally kicking in. And for that we need thirst-quenching, complex but not too intense beers. So we'll finish off with something that is definitely intense, but until then we have these amazing beers. This next one is also a bottom fermented beer. So where we had a Keller beer before, this is another Bavarian classic, but with a twist. It's a Helles, which there's a lot of flavor profile I can tell you of a classic one, but let's just stick to this one. It's a bottom fermented beer again. It's a beer with a very little hop profile, as in bitterness. It's barely used for bitterness. It's a beer that would compete with the Pilsner brewers in Bavaria at the time, and very classic to München, I believe.
But the smokiness, I would think of Bamberg.
But there's no smokiness in München.
No.
So the brewers at Kaapse, some of my favorite brewers actually. Etienne, he's the fucking man, or the freaking man. No cursing, huh?
The admirable man.
Yeah, he knows his way around the brewery. He's been doing this forever. Worked at a bunch of breweries. Has his own brewery called the Bebarenbrouwer, but also has been doing this Kaapse Brouwers for many years now. And what they usually do is they brew classic styles, but with a twist. They never really go for the ultra hip styles of beer, so they just brought out an amazing West Coast IPA. But this is another banger, if you ask me. A smoked Helles. Let me just quickly finish this.
So it's a smoked beer.
Let me just quickly pour that. It was a very full can, so thank you for that, Etienne.
And you can smell the smokiness, both in the beer and the cheese.
Yeah. So when we tried this pairing before at Louis' store, I was doubtful if it would work, because usually when we do these pairings, similar flavors in both the cheese and the beer kind of cancel each other out, which sometimes makes way for amazing other flavors that are hidden somewhere in the beer or the cheese. But for this, it really enriches each other in that smokiness.
And the creaminess that the beer has in itself as well, which the cheese of course has as well.
It's an amazing beer. This is for me stuff I want to drink all summer. Really, just need to bring a bunch home. Always have it cold. This is it's just easy drinking. That Helles, that bottom fermented, thirst quenching German style of beer, but then with that smokiness which kind of grows on you. And as soon as you had a few sips, the smokiness kind of goes to the back of the flavor profile, and you just get this really full, creamy kind of beer.
Jeff asks how the cheese is smoked. Well, there's several ways of smoking things. There's I don't know. I'm not a specialist on smoking. I never smoked. But there's one of the methods is called cold smoking. So the method used for this is cold smoking, because if you would have used warm smoking, the cheese would have melted, and it didn't. So it gives a smoky taste to the cheese without melting the cheese. I have a transport of Italian cheeses from Italy every week, and this is one of the cheeses that comes along mostly every week as well. It's something that isn't that known in the Netherlands. We know mozzarella, we know buffalo mozzarella. This is buffalo mozzarella from Campania, the area south of Naples, and well, they also have smoked mozzarella. And people might know scamorza, which is kind of the drier, harder kind of mozzarella, and that often comes in a smoked version. But this one is available smoked as well. It's really nice with like grilled vegetables, for instance, or an autumny salad, or well, you can use it whenever you use normal mozzarella as well to give it a smoky hint. And well, the smoky hint is where it meets the beer.
Yeah, for sure.
And as I said before, also in the creaminess. So we thought this was quite a perfect match.
Yeah. So again, it's difficult with these low intensity beers and cheeses to create this huge fireworks which we've had before. But yeah, like I said, we've really gone for a comfortable pairings that go well in the next few months in summer. And I guess, yeah, throwing that in a salad. We're barbecuing tomorrow. I'm grilling some vegetables, adding that. Definitely.
Drinking this.
Definitely bringing a 6-pack home today.
Ilanya says the mozzarella is fantastic. I agree.
The mozzarella is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the beer is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love this beer. I wish there was a bar that would have this on draft at all times. I would always go there and drink that.
Kaapse Maria, maybe?
Kaapse Maria. Go to Rotterdam, visit these guys in the Phoenix Food Hall, or they have another, I think they're actually opening a third one as well, but they also have the Kaapse Maria. So go check that out.
Which is near Eendrachtsplein. If you go from the central station in Rotterdam straight on, you just pass it.
Yeah. Are there any people that happen to dislike smoked beers, actually? Because it's quite an acquired taste, of course.
Yeah, Luc said, I'm not a fan of smoked beer, but these pair nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I first had a smoked beer, it was one of those Bamberg, Schlenkerla, heavy, intense smoked beers, and it didn't really compute for me. It was a weird flavor, but I feel that in smoked beers, the smoke kind of just disappears after a few sips. It's your nose and your mouth have gotten used to it, and you just taste the rest of the beer, and the smokiness just adds this full flavor.
What is actually
almost creaminess?
What is actually smoked? The beer itself or the malts?
No, the malts. The malts. Yeah. So the way you smoke anything, food or cheese, you could probably do with cold smoking as well. But this happens. Yeah, it's a whole technical thing. But so as you can smoke meats and fish, you can just smoke the malts that are then being used in the brewing. So that's how you get smoke flavor in a liquid. It's quite different, but I like it. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I like it, but I already said so. Someone's asking me a question privately, so I have to.
Okay. Well, I still had a piece of the Remaker in front of me. Just tasted that with this beer, just to see what happens. Yeah, and the beer just kind of kills the Remaker. So
yeah, it's too fragile, I think.
yeah, it's too delicate. So with the Helles it worked. It would have, or with the Keller beer, but this is just really nice. Spot on. Did everybody enjoy their sunny afternoon? I know I did.
I was working.
Yeah, me too. But I had some time to sit out in the sun. Yep, awesome stuff. When was the last time you did you took some cheese and some beer home?
You know, at home I drink wine more. I'm not supposed to say that here, maybe, but
no, it's okay. I sell wine as well. I love wine.
I love wine. I love beer. I love wine, but somehow way I drink wine more often at home, if I drink at home.
Speaking of wine, I just had some new Greek natural wine in. So it's spontaneously fermented muscat from Greece. What do you think about that? Love wine, but for me it's basically just natural wines now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a way more interesting thing to drink for me.
I like natural wines, but I like traditional wines as well.
I'm sure there's amazing ones, but I don't know. For me, they don't compare to that wild character of natural wines.
I picked up some nice wines at Varna this afternoon.
Oh.
She has good stuff. She has a lot of Portuguese.
You didn't pick up anything here.
No. She has a lot of Portuguese wines, which you normally don't get across so easily.
No. What was next actually? Oh yeah, I know.
I know as well.
It's nice. Really looking forward to that one as well. Are there any more questions?
Luc had a good stroopwafelburger in Mierlo.
Yeah, he sent me a picture.
Okay.
Stroopwafelburger. Yeah, it's crazy. Any more questions about the beer or the cheese? Because I am almost ready for that next pairing, actually. If we're going too fast, just let us know. But we like to drink and eat, so we go fast. If you want to go slow, let us know.
What is natural wine, Jeff Colton asks?
Natural wine is a wine that is produced without intervention in the whole vinification of the grapes. So these farmers are all bio farmers or biodynamic farmers. They pick all the grapes by hand. They're usually really small domains. So with a bunch of people, pick everything by hand, and sometimes even without squashing the grapes, but mostly with squashing the grapes, they just put it in a vessel. It could either be stainless steel or amphora vessels or wooden barrels, and they let these grapes ferment with the wild yeast that are present on the grapes from the field on, pretty much. So you get this really wild, these really wild flavors that can go all directions. You get usually quite dry wines with this, because all these wild yeast, they ferment a lot of the sugars.
I had some sweet ones as well.
Yeah, they're sweet ones, but yeah, then they do intervene with a cold crash or something like that. And then without filtering, they bottle these wines.
No sulfites.
That's probably the big one, is that they don't add sulfites. So where a conventional wine producer will intervene like crazy amount of times in the vinification process with adding anything to make it sweeter, more sour, drier, or whatever, and just kind of create the flavor of the wine. Here, it's nature does it, and so in the bottling process, the conventional wine producers we'll use sulfites to kill off any other any yeasts that are still present in the wine, and just kind of stop the process. And from then on, it's just an aging process that has to do with just the oxygen doing what it does to the wine. And with these wines, they are still alive, as they say, in the bottle. So still has alive yeasts in there, making sure it's all.
Most traditional wine geeks detest natural wines because they say they're all mistakes. They only taste mistakes in the wines.
Yeah, exactly. So in mistakes, what they mean is that nature gets a chance, and that they don't want nature to have anything to do with their wine. They just want to create the wine 100% the way they want, and they want the yeast in there that they want, and so it's more of a So to me, it's a way more romantic way of producing wines. It's just, and the funny thing is with these traditional wine drinkers, obviously everything is about terroir. Even though as soon as the grapes are off the land, everything is done to be made into a wine that they want it to be, instead of just letting nature take its course. So, anyways, I'm really enthusiastic about these natural wines. I got into it at a beer festival, and it's somehow close to, or in some ways close to, like lambic, which is also fermented with wild yeasts, and I just fell in love with it, man.
Can you keep these wines in a cellar? Asks.
You can, but most of them you just need to drink fresh, because there's obviously risks involved in the producing of these wines this way. It's always possible for a certain yeast or at a certain temperature to mess with the wine over time. So I have like a Magnum bottle, a 2003 vintage, and 2004 and 5, but you need to be really lucky as a producer to create a wine that ages well, a natural wine that ages well. So no, not really a cellar wine. That was nice. I liked it. So pretty soon, I guess we'll do a natural wine cheese tasting, but we'll do that when we can meet each other, so we can open these big bottles and give everybody a bit.
It will be interesting because I've tasted natural wines, but I don't know too much about it, and it will be interesting to see how we compare them.
Well, let's just drink a bunch of wines pretty soon, and
in the end, it's pairing with whatever. It's the same because you just use the same principles on whatever pairing you do, whether it's wine and cheese, natural wine and cheese, tea and cheese. Yeah, you always have the same principles in mind, so you can do it. We could do it with sake as well, even though we don't know anything about sake.
No, we could just try it. We could try a bunch of stuff. Yeah, and as you've done more of these pairings, but also with I've worked with restaurants to see what works, and there's a theory that you can apply on all of these, and then you just kind of focus on a certain area that you think might work well, and then you just kind of branch out from there, see if your beer needs to be sweeter, drier, more herby, more bitter, more anything, and then you just in the end you'll find that perfect match.
We both learned this theory behind it from Claudia van Dongen, who's one of the grand ladies of wine in the Netherlands. We did a wine course with her, and ever since we've been applying these lessons we've learned from her on beer as well, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, but sometimes like last week when we tried these pairings, it's also fun to kind of step out of that comfortable theory, I guess, of these pairings, and you'll find amazing things happen with pairings that you might not that you wouldn't have guessed.
Sometimes opposites attract as well, and in this theory that we learned, you always try to find similarities in the beer and the cheese, or the wine and the cheese. Sometimes it's nice to go at it from a completely different angle and find something that, according to the theory, would clash, but doesn't in real life. Yeah, whiskey works as well, Luc, but I really can't drink whiskey. For me, it only burns in my throat. Yeah. So I've tried it over and over again, but if people say this is a nice soft whiskey, for me it's like, oh my god, this burns in my throat. I don't taste anything but...
Well, and the thing with whiskey is it's so intense, there's no mild whiskeys.
Yeah, but...
To whiskey people, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not a mild drink at all, because there's always a lot of alcohol, and it just kind of blows through or over anything that you'll pair with it. So
yeah, but I have I think I sell like 10 to 15 old cheeses in my shop. I think some of them would go really nicely with certain whiskies, but I'm not the one to do this pairing.
No.
So
whiskey should be paired with cigars and other heavy, intense flavors that attack your mouth. Like we years ago, we got the chance to take over the bar at Valmont, and they went on a trip with all
London.
Employees, and we got to run the bar for a night. And so one of the ideas is we had a table where we would kind of battle off or kind of pair wines, beers, and we had some whiskeys as well, and cheese. Mm-hmm. So it was just a bunch of stuff that we drank, and not necessarily a random order, but it was just, let's see what happens when we drink this beer and pair it with this wine. And it was kind of a battle going on with a friend of ours who's a wino, and she, when we drank a beer, she would be like, "Hey, I think this would go really nice with a wine," and one of them would win and stuff like that. But when you're talking spirits, distilled alcoholic beverages, like it kills everything. It's just way too intense for anything.
But the funny thing in this experiment was that in the end the beer and wine pairings were nice as well, because we were intending to do beer and cheese or wine and cheese, and then people should decide, is the beer and cheese nice, is the wine and cheese nice? But in the end the beer and wine even was nice, which is very, very controversial, of course, and very non-conventional, but it was fun, a fun way to...
Another one to be noted is we should maybe do a beer and wine pairing evening.
That's cool.
Just drinks, and we'll have nice cheeses and some nice food, and we could talk about it and we could pair that as well. But I think just kind of battling off the two is awesome, because wine is great as well. Even though I'm the Bierbrigadier, I've grown very fond of wines and ciders, selling about over 40 ciders now. It's also just great stuff. We can do a cider and cheese tasting as well, because it's a very broad flavor profile for ciders as well.
I never did a cider and cheese, so
no.
But that's one of the things we should keep in mind once we can do this without a computer in between again.
We are going to drink the next beer
and eat the next cheese. So now the white cheese comes along, and well, the beer is what?
Dr. Rudy. Ja. Brouwerij Het Verzet. An awesome brewery. They have their core range of Belgian classics, but nobody seems to care about that when it comes to Verzet. They do an amazing Oud Bruin, which is like a sour.
They're Flemish, right?
Yep. And they have an Oud Bruin with cherry and with raspberry. So they have a really nice wild side to the brewery, where they spontaneously ferment, or mixed fermentation goes on with these beers. But they also have more experimental beers, and Dr. Rudy is one of them. Dr. Rudy, I don't know if you might have read the label yet, but Dr. Rudy is an authority on acute thirst healing. It's a Berliner Weizen, which means it's a wheat beer, heavily on the wheat, and it's a beer with gets a sour quality to it from lactobacillus, which is like a wine, milk sours. It's also, sometimes these beers are called kettle sours, because they during the brewing process as soon as you've done your maishing. So you get all the sugars out of the grains that you're using. You leave this brew out for about 24 hours. So you restart the brewing process 24 hours later, and in the meantime, this not beer yet, this liquid that you have in your brewing pots will have gone sour, and then you go on to boil this to kill all activity, add some hops to it, and then get it fermented. Dr. Rudy, by the way, is as somebody happened to tell me this afternoon, which I didn't know, is the guy who brought hops to New Zealand. So I'm guessing there's probably some New Zealand hops in there, but I couldn't figure that out reading it off the label. Opener. Is it maybe to the side of the naast de koffiezetapparaat? Aan de zijkant hangt hij misschien. Helemaal aan de zijkant van het hout. Onder, ja, daar. Toppie. Dus dit is, like I said, we are going for thirst quenching springtime beers. Stuff you can drink all summer. Stuff you can drink all evening. Have friends over in the yard, do some barbecuing, have fun. And just drink beers that don't knock you on your ass too fast. So the Dr. Rudy, a Berliner Weizen, and we've paired these types of beers many times because we both love these types of beer, these sour beers, and well, we happen to also kind of enjoy cheese. So what's up with the cheese, man?
Well, it's actually, we always pair this with the same kind of. Yeah. Well, no, it's not really true. We once did a pairing evening only with sour and wild fermented beers.
Right.
And then we had all kind of cheeses to go along with it.
Yeah.
But our first go-to cheese with a sour beer like this is a goat cheese.
Yeah.
So the white cheese you found in your package is a goat cheese from Belgium. Actually, not so very far from here. If you go to the south here, at some point you cross the border, and then a bit further you find Hasselt, and if you go from Hasselt towards Leuven and Brussels, you come across the village that's called Lummen, and that's where this cheese is from. It's from a cheesemaker that's called Karditzel. They're one of the best goat cheese makers, if not the very best in Belgium. And they make all different kinds of goat cheeses, and because it's a cheesemaker that works together with 2 or 3 goat cheese farmers, organic goat cheese farmers. And the guy who makes the cheeses, he has a big career behind him in cheese making. And
this is one of the very best goat cheeses I've tasted.
Yes, it's one of the best. And
it's amazing.
Some people are afraid of goat cheese because they taste like stable, or they taste sour, or they...
Sounds amazing to me.
Yeah. And this
Rhine has a lot of sourness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very intense, or like, yeah, it really attacks the mouth. But so the reason we pair these is like you wouldn't necessarily pair this with like a really dry lambic or anything, but with these kettle sours, they have a lot of wheat in it, and obviously you get that creamy kind of sour in it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, well, there's creamy in the cheese and there's sour in the cheese, and that usually works really well. And it kind of usually brings out, I haven't tasted this yet now, but it usually brings out all these extra flavors in the beer and all the extra flavors in the cheese. Like, obviously we get the creamy, we obviously get the sour, but there's so much more going on, and usually the emphasis is put on those extra flavors.
Yeah, and that's completely the case here, because this is, for me, this is a perfect marriage. This cheese and this beer.
This beer is amazing. It's very full and creamy already. I don't know if you've tasted the beer before trying the cheese, but the profile of this beer just instantly makes you draw to these goat cheeses, or like a nice like a bit older white cheese would also work. But this extra funk of the goats.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
Sometimes we look at what the wine world does when it comes to pairing, and if you look at goat cheeses, the area in France where most goat cheeses come from is the area where also the Sauvignon Blancs come from, and
that's when I like it.
So Sauvignon Blanc is the soury kind of wine if you look at it, and that's how we started doing these sour beer and sour cheese and goat cheese pairings, and it works completely. Where is it for set in Belgium?
Anzegem. All right, I'll look it up where it is exactly. Anzegem.
Because in France they often say what goes together grows together, but then in French probably.
Usually.
Yeah, and
the French tend to do it.
I don't always agree, but sometimes, very often it does. It is right.
It is close to Kortrijk.
So that's completely the other side of Belgium. But
so Kortrijk, Ghent, like somewhere in the middle.
Both the cheese and the beer in this case are Belgian.
So, yeah, like I said, it brings out a lot of more complex flavors in the beer and in the cheese. What do you think of the beer?
I like it.
What does it do? What does it do to the beer?
To the cheese.
What does the cheese do to the beer?
You forget about the sourness and taste all the fruitiness in it.
It's like it's like lemon juice, right? Like really
lemonade,
refreshing, young fruit. It's very party-like, right?
Yeah.
And the cheese, it's pretty much the same thing with the cheese.
Yeah. And the nice thing is when you eat and drink these together is that you taste the beer, then you taste the cheese, then you taste the beer again, then you taste the cheese. It's not like one of them is taking over, but they're really in balance, I think.
This is the best pairing up till now, right? From these three. What do you guys think? I think, well, maybe it's because I'm also very fond of these sour beers and goat cheese as a whole. But this I can do all day, man.
Well,
all
I think
day. I don't know.
You get a bit drunk after a while.
At some point you get drunk.
There is alcohol.
And I really don't enjoy getting
drunk.
For the people that have tuned in for the first time of a Bierbrigadier tasting, I do burp, and I do not apologize. So I'll do it once. Sorry for that.
Sorry for his behavior.
Sorry for my behavior. And all right. Love it. Are there any questions?
Well, there's two guys still talking about whiskey, about whiskey from Brittany.
Oh.
Luc told us about whiskeys from Brittany, and Jeff has now ordered one of those.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So maybe you can help us with a beer and with a whiskey and cheese pairing someday.
Mm-hmm.
If you like whiskeys.
Sure. I'll be the first guy to convince me that whiskey will be paired with anything. If somebody can convince me of that, you have done a good job. This is freaking amazing. It also has almost like a maybe like rosemary kind of sage, like a herbiness to it, like a fresh cut herbs in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You get it? Yeah. Or maybe that's the cheese. Maybe it's the rind of the cheese that has.
Cheese has that for certain, yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So, to skip a bit ahead, we are going to finish off with a very strange beer. Strange pairing, which we don't know yet what we think of it.
Mm-hmm.
We have decided that this is what we're going to go for, because it's as close as we can get to the perfect pairing with the beer that I brought and the cheese that you had in stock. But it's a difficult beer. I thought it would be the easy beer
Yeah.
to pair with something.
Because the last cheese we're going to have is a blue cheese, and blue cheese is always easy to pair, and it's always party time because you pair it with something strong like barley wine, or something very sweet like a quadruple or
Even with a fruited beer, like if you
yeah.
go full on sweet Kriek or whatever, it would also be nice.
So that works, but barley wine always works normally.
Yeah.
And now we were not completely sure. We think it works, but in a different way than we would normally think it would work.
It was a very like you described before. It's fun when the flavors go back and forth and new things happen. But with the next pairing, it would just happen really fast, a lot. It was like a chaotic kind of experience. So I'm really curious to see how many people will find this a like fireworks, and who agrees with us still. Maybe we'll figure it out today, whether or not it works. We're not sure.
No.
We're not sure.
No, because we have this. Well, you're going to tell us more about the beer soon. We have this strong beer, which is like a barley wine, but a bit different.
Yeah.
We would expect it to be very sweet, but it wasn't.
No. It surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I was sure that I had it before, and I thought I knew what I was bringing to the cheese shop, and we would just kind of just throw a nice blue cheese at it, and we would be flying. But no, it did not work that way. It did not work that way. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go grab the beer. This is a beer that might grow, get a different profile when it warms up a bit, because we're dealing with a heavy beer, and when you chill that, you get more of the bitterness and the spiciness, herbiness, before you get any of the sweetness. So when we drank it, it was quite cold.
Mm-hmm.
So
we didn't tell the people to get it out of the fridge an hour ago.
No, we didn't. But we're also still drinking this. So go get that beer. If you haven't finished this, take your time. Let that beer get to a temperature a bit.
Put it in the microwave.
Put it in the microwave. Hold it in your hands, or pour it in the glass already, and just kind of make your hands warm and just cuddle it.
Hold it near your barbecue.
Yeah, hold it near your barbecue. Au bain marie. Au bain marie works.
A merry bath.
Alright. I am, well, yeah, so I'm going to take it out.
But you
Or shall we just get one that it hasn't been in the
Yes, that's better.
Let's try it. We'll try both, yeah? First we'll try the one that is cold, and then we'll try the one that is not.
So, there's one beer left, there's one cheese left, so I guess you can do the math yourself to know which one to pair with which one.
Alright. Are we going too fast? Are there any more questions on or off markings?
Yeah, someone said, Jeff said barley wine never had that. So I said never had what? He said barley wine, what does it taste like? Barley wine. You never had a barley. Oh, sorry.
You never had a barley wine.
I didn't get your question. I thought barley wine never had what we described. But barley wine is well, you can explain better, but it's a strong beer, mostly over 10%, which is quite well. It has wine in it, so it's getting close to wine in its percentage. But it's normally quite sweet.
It doesn't actually have wine in it.
No, but
he said that it has wine in it.
In the name.
In the name. So it's a barley wine. So you could also make a honey wine or apple wine, and this is a barley wine. So it's a lot of barley is being used. So it's a full malty beer.
What is barley in Dutch?
Barley is gerst.
Gerst.
Gerstewijn. So it usually has mostly barley, but this is a wheat wine. So that means it's like a Weizen that has like up
wheat
to
is tarwe.
yeah, tarwe, about 70% wheat or tarwe, and then this is just a brew house jam packed with wheat, which is also, there's a lot of technical stuff I can get into. It's very hard to brew this. You cannot brew this at home as a hobby brewer. You need certain technical possibilities in your brewery to brew this. This is a collaboration between the Kaapse Brouwers and Ramses. Speaking of Ramses, Ramses Brewery is a brewery owned by Ramses, and Ramses has been doing this since the 90s pretty much. He's like one of the old guys, he's not old. A very knowledgeable brewer that's been doing this for a long time, and he had a really a train of bad luck run through his life. Not too long ago, I would say maybe a year or two ago, he had a fire in his brewery, so that kind of put a halt to all of his brewing possibilities. And then like about 3 weeks ago, his house burned down. So he's having a horrible time, and which was nice to see was that a bunch of other Dutch breweries
So then he made
yeah.
smoked Helles.
Smoked Alice. Yeah, so, and this is called the Brandgans.
Okay.
So, a bunch of other brewers and also people from the craft beer community had this, how do you call it? Gewoon een donatieronde. They asked for donations online for Ramses. And everybody in the craft beer community donated beer so he could get money to get his house back on track, because him and his daughters, I think right now they're in like this vacation home somewhere part time, or hopefully not too long. But so it's nice to see that this craft beer scene and this community joins hands and help this guy out to get back on his feet. So if you're interested in any of this story, go online. It's mainly going on Facebook. So I guess look for Ramses on Facebook, and you'll probably find some posts or some links where you can donate some money to help this guy out. I've brewed 3 beers with the guy. He's an amazing person, and he really deserves some help because he would always be there to help anybody else out. So that being said, the wheat wine
and the blue cheese.
So much good stuff, Garrett, right? I'd say it pretty much every time we do a pairing. It's that this is probably my favorite thing to do in life, right? Pair stuff, or eat and drink nice stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's the favorite beer from what? Not necessarily the pairing, but what do you guys think?
What gets your 12 points?
What gets your 12 points? That's right. Eurovision Song Festival geek over here. 12 points. What gets the 12 points, and which cheese get the 12 points?
Maybe we have to taste the last one before we do the voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do the 12 points at the end.
Yeah, and then we'll do the jury, and they can do the audience, the televote.
I'm gonna rinse this out real quick.
Can you do mine as well?
Oh yes.
So, well, we're heading to the last pairing, the last cheese. All of the cheeses the mozzarella is a bit different, but all 3 of the other cheeses, they're all raw milk cheeses. I'm a very big fan of raw milk cheeses. Raw milk cheese means that the milk used to make this cheese is not pasteurized, and that means that a lot of the terroir, as we just mentioned in the wine world, maybe raw milk cheese is like natural cheese as well.
Yeah, I guess that could be a good.
Kind of, but when you pasteurize milk, means that you bring it to a certain temperature and it takes all of the possible bad germs out, but it takes all of the loads of the interesting qualities of the cheese out as well. So often it's not very it's not very good for the quality of the cheese in the end. There's good examples of cheeses that are produced.
It does not only kill any of the germs or yeast or anything going on. It also
kills everything.
Yeah, but it also the heat changes flavors.
Yeah.
And it makes the texture of the cheese different. It makes them a bit more plasticky, and it kind of blends all these flavors together. There's no real outspoken flavors anymore.
And because all of the cultures are killed, so not only the bad ones, it means they have to add new cultures afterwards, and they're like factory-made cultures, which makes it all a bit artificial. So I'm a really big fan of raw milk cheeses.
Well, there's one amazing, really good pasteurized cheese.
There's loads of them.
Well, one that I'm really into is the Dorival, of course.
Dorival is a nice.
It's really nice pasteurized cheese.
Yeah, and there's this cheesemaker in Utrecht called Oudwijk. They have all of their cheeses are pasteurized.
Oh, really? Wow.
But they're good as well. They have very nice blue cheeses, very nice washed rind cheeses. But all of the three ones you had today are raw milk. Mozzarella can't be raw milk because the way mozzarella is produced is part of it is heating, because otherwise you don't get this kind of structure. But the other three, so if any of you are pregnant, you should not have eaten these cheeses. But
so too late now.
Yeah.
But there are actually, because I was going to ask, because I've heard that after about like an old unpasteurized cheese can be eaten, like there's the risks no chance to.
There's hardly any risks, especially in old cheeses, and the official advice until a few years ago was that you could eat all older cheeses, but the advice in the Netherlands right now is for pregnant women not to eat any raw milk cheese, not even the old ones.
Well.
Even though there's really no. But I'm not a doctor, so I never tell people to.
They're freaking all these ladies out.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm not telling anyone to eat it anyway. But of course, if you're pregnant, just eat old raw milk cheeses because there's no risk.
No.
But I didn't tell you.
All right, so I took one of these cans out of the fridge. So this one is cold, and I have one at room temperature. So let's see what happens. So as you can see, just in the color it doesn't have any. I could check, but I don't think it has any like caramelized malts to it. It's not. It doesn't get this color. I think from like these roasted malts, like the slightly roasted malts. But it's just the amount of wheat and the amount of barley in there that gives it this thick, like rusty red-orange color. It has a beautiful foam on it, which just means good brewing. And so usually when we do barley wines or anything, like in the nose you already get these dried fruits, this aged fruit. It's sweet, but when we opened this at the shop at Jokkmokk last week, we smelled it and I'm like, this is gonna be a bitch to pair. It's gonna be different. It's because it's something that we have not tasted before, right?
No, because it's really strange, because you really expect something sweet, but then you taste it and it's dry.
Yeah.
And it's almost like our neighbor or something in
yeah. Yeah, and it's like licorice. I get this like laurier, like this licorice, really spiced herby aroma, and a bit of sweetness.Maybe you get like a bit of sweetness in the nose, but not too much. So we tried a few cheeses for this.
Yeah, but then decided to go for our first thought cheeses anyway. So it's a blue cheese. It's a French blue cheese. It's called Bleu de Pyrénées. So it's from the southernmost area of France in Pays Basque country. There's also Bleu de Basque, which is protected by the French cheese qualification system. The Bleu de Pyrénées isn't, but it's almost the same, and I think it's even better. Maybe because it's not protected, I don't know. But it's a sheep cheese.
So before people, I don't know, probably some people have already just started drinking and eating the cheese. But before we do, when you smell both of these separately, you can smell the complex aromas of this beer, and then when you smell the cheese, you can smell the quality already. Well, to me it just smells like a really full quality. There's no weird side aromas. There's just a beautiful blue cheese. Yeah. But when you smell these even faster or closer to each other, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's almost peppery. It's almost like a white pepper.
This blue cheese is actually one of my favorite blue cheeses because it's not extremely complex. It's not extremely overpowering either, which some blue cheeses can be. It's really like comfortable and round, and I like it, and that's why we ended up combining these two anyway.
Yeah, so this one has quite a bit of hops used for bitterness as well. I'm really curious to see what hops are being used, because maybe those account for some of that something that je ne sais quoi. You know what I mean? I don't know where it's coming from. Obviously, wheat gives off a certain refreshing sourness in like a Weizen example, and that's being amplified as well because it has so much wheat in it. It has a sour quality to it. The aftertaste or the structure and the mouthfeel it's quite dry, especially for 10% beer. Usually you have all these residual is that the word? I think so. Sugars. So usually it has quite some sweetness. So let's try this. Well, it's an amazing cheese, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And right now I think it does go well together.
Yeah.
We didn't try it with this blue cheese, we tried it with another one, but I think this one is quite perfect.
Yeah, like I said, when I brought the beer over, it was really, really cold as well. So it kind of just numbs your mouth as well, and it cancels out a lot of the flavor in the beer.
So we should try it with the warm beer.
It's just a really intense beer, man. It's just really intense, and so is the cheese, and it kind of just effortlessly melts together, kind of.
Yeah.
But the beer is overpowering a bit.
Not much.
No, not to you. Let's try it again.
Yeah, the beer is a bit stronger, but
so it could be the temperature as well. So let's try throw this away. Don't worry, I have enough.
Alcoholmisbruik. Maybe the beer is a bit too intense.
Yeah.
Ilanya says.
So let's try it at room temperature, because it does temperature does a lot to beer, and it the lower the temperature gets, the more room is being created for bitters and sours, and the warmer it gets, the more sweetness and other fruity flavors come to the front. So let's see. I think this could really benefit the pairing.
Yeah, I smell. What is it called? Wort.
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 Yeah. So the unfermented beer.
Yeah. It's a bit like...
Yeah, a bit more, yeah.
It smells a bit like the old-fashioned alcohol-free beers as well. But it's completely not alcohol-free. But
no. 10%. No, it's a bit more warty. Just a bit more sweetness. Just a bit, so I expect a bit more roundness. Bit of annoying people in front of my place. So you see, there is it does make it softer and easier. So let's see if that really changes this pairing.
Jeff likes it. Jeff likes it.
Without a doubt, the cheese gets more of a chance here.
Yeah.
Oh, way better. Way better. It actually overpowers the beer a bit now. Almost. Not overpowers. It just, there's a better balance. Way better balance. Well, that's actually really nice. Yeah, so if you have it, if it's cold now, where you're sitting,
leave it for a while.
Leave it. Forget about there's not that much bubbles in it anyways. So leave it there, or rub your hands, make it warm. Rub the glass, make sure, like, swirl it a bit, get the temperature up, because that'll really benefit the pairing.
Yeah.
It actually makes it a really good pairing. Yeah, so those that, like I said, that white pepperiness and the almost like licorice kind of flavors, like really go way more hand in hand with the funky, with the blue of the cheese.
Yep.
All right.
Jeff says he feels the 10%.
Well, if you feel like doing a little dance, what's stopping you?
We can't see you.
But we will join you. So 10% is good for party vibes, for sure.
Yep.
And what's nice is the bubbles in the beer kind of just kind of naturalize all that creaminess that is around your mouth, so the cheese doesn't linger and doesn't stick, you know.
Yeah, I must admit I feel the 10% as well.
No problems here.
So these were the 4 pairings we prepared for you.
Yeah.
If you would have been here in the shop, we would probably have offered you a 5th pairing, but
6th maybe.
Maybe a 6th, and maybe.
So we're really looking forward to meeting all you guys in real life again, because we really miss you guys, and we miss doing this this back and forth and just kind of figuring out with this pairing how it all works. And so as soon as we possibly can get together, small groups, maybe even already start with that,
or something outside.
Maybe outside. Yep. Good idea.
But in the meantime, if you come to one of our shops and are wondering what beer to drink with what cheese, we can both advise you.
Yep.
So if you buy cheese at my place and come here, Casper can tell you which.
We always have pairings ready for you. If you just bring me the cheese that you're getting at Louis, or bring the beer to Louis, we could definitely hook you up with some nice beer pairings.
Yeah.
Last chance for some amazing questions, because we still have to do the do's or point moments.
Which combination tonight got your 12 points?
Yeah. Do's or point.
Do's or point.
Which no, let's see let's first hear the audience. Do's or point goes to, first off, I want to hear whoever present his score or her score. The do's or point for beer pairing of the evening goes to
Now we should do
So really exciting, huh?
we should do the interval act.
The what?
Interval act.
Oh, the interval act.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Sing a song.
go ahead. Can you do maybe a bit of the winning song? Can you maybe sing a bit of it?
No, it's Italian. I don't speak Italian.
Did you get one of those suits with the leather, with the singer guy?
No, I didn't get it either.
No,
No.
not yet.
I'm a bad fan.
Bad fan.
The Berliner with the goat, Dr. Rudy. So
The Dr. Rudy gets one. Get the 12 point by.
2, Luc and Ilana.
Yeah.
And
Elena?
Jeff's 12 points go to the first pairing.
Oh yeah.
But it's
It's
it's a subtle one, but yeah, we
Yeah.
agree.
Very nice.
Ah.
Remker always wins in my book.
Yeah.
Who's next? The 12 point for pairing of the night goes to Demi. I know you're watching.
Dami's been quiet.
Demi has been quiet, laying on the couch, being lazy. So, grab your phone or your laptop, give us your 12 point. Had Luc already said?
Yeah, Luc said the Berliner. Marie-Claire's 12 point go to the third pair. So that was the
The Berliner
Sauer.
Weisse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we are going to get a winner there.
So this is a winner. And I'm wondering if there's a difference between the 12 point for pairing and the 12 point for beer or for cheese. Maybe the cheese separately, you might have gone for a different cheese.
Ilanya is also Serge and Evelien. We are with 3 tonight.
Mhm.
So the threesome of you are going for the Berliner Weisse with the goat cheese. Good to hear.
Nune represent.
Noonan, can we have your votes, please? Yeah, we got your votes.
All right. Well, I hope you had a great time. I hope it's a good end of this amazing sunny day. I guess we'll just finish this.
Yeah.
Finish all the cheese. Finish all the beer.
Well, Dami says 12 points go to the goat cheese pairing. So I think we have a winner.
We have a winner.
So next
Dr.
year,
Rudy.
next year this will be hosted in Belgium.
So we have a Berliner Weisse with the goat cheese, the soft goat cheese. Very nice. All right. Do you have a different perspective? Do you have any a different 12 point?
I think it's hard to choose between your children, but I really like the smoked beer with the smoked mozzarella as well.
It was nice.
But I guess I agree that the goat and and sour was the best.
Yeah.
one.
Well, I gotta say, tomorrow when we do our barbecue, we have some friends over. I am gonna take the smoked mozzarella and add it to a grilled vegetable salad.
That's great.
And then drink it with this beer, so you get more stuff going on with that smokiness.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be amazing.
Yeah.
But also, I gotta say, they were all nice. This is just maybe a bit uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but nice but uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This was definitely the most comfortable one, and just it works really well together. The smoke, the same thing. It's just different. I get smokiness doesn't get a 12 point, but for me the Keller beer as well.
Yeah.
With the Remker, that was a perfect start of an evening like this, and they worked really well together.
Jeff said he is inspired to try more beers, so you know where to get them.
Yes, Bierbrigadier, Bergstraat 41. We're open tomorrow, so if there's no other plans, Jeff, I won't be here. It'll be my buddy Taco running the shop tomorrow, but he knows a bunch, so you can ask him whatever you want. We're open from 12 till 5. Are you open tomorrow?
No.
No.
I'll be open on Tuesday again.
Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Thank you for this evening.
Thank you for an amazing evening.
Amazing evening. We're gonna finish this. Well, that's it for the official part of this evening.
We're going to start the after party now, but without you.
Yes, we are going to grab some vodka and some crackers.
The go-go dancers are going to come in soon now.
Yes, and we will. Yeah, well, we've been working on we've been working on a dance, and I think today will be. I think we might perfect it today.
Yes.
The dance.
Yeah, but we'll let you know once it's ready.
There's a few pairings in the dance that we do together. There's a lift that is very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially here in these narrow spaces. I lift Louis up and we do a spin. But last time we kicked all the beers off. But nonetheless, we're gonna try it again.
And the electricity was off for a week at least.
Yeah, he got electrocuted. Yeah. He almost died.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's see how we do tonight.
Oké.
Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.
Had jij zin in nog een biertje of iets anders?
Ja, maar dan camera uit.
Met de camera uit, want je hebt nog allemaal verhalen.
Nee, joh.
Nee, oké. Oké, nou goed. Doei. Ik ga hem uitzetten nu. Hè. Ik kom daar naartoe en dan zet ik hem uit.
Oh, ik ben 9 man nu. Kletsers. Vodka and cheese. Taco Sunday. Oh, it seems we can't stop this, so it will go on for eternity now.
Oh, we zijn er nog wel. Laat is het. Oh. Taco Sunday. Oh, nou ben ik bij.